Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to talk about basically right there. The question, the title of the video is a question. It's what is ATGAMES? What is ATGAMES basically? Or basically, what is ATGAMES plug and plays? What are these? Who is ATGAMES? Well, ATGAMES is responsible for systems like this. Now, this was before ATGAMES actually acquired the licensing to make these. But basically, ATGAMES is a company that is mostly known for releasing plug-and-play versions of game systems, if not games themselves, that you can automatically, as the saying goes, plug the... Let me untangle this for a second, or at least try to. There we go. That you can at least plug with these things here, plug into your, well, first of all, they have plugs that go back there, but plug these into your television set, or into your television, whether it's a standard or, in this case, hopefully for me and my mom by the end of this week, in HD. You can plug these in there, which is pretty cool. But you're probably saying, well, you can't just plug in audio video and expect to play, right? That is true, which is why it also comes with of course, an AV cord. All these systems come with them. Well, not AV cord, but an AC adapter. Right here. This, of course, is the Atari Flashback. I got this many Christmases ago when I still lived in Kansas. And this is when these things started to really come about. And again, it's all about basically taking what was once a very popular item, or in this case, popular console, semi-popular console, and making it portable for those on the go. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have hit that. So in other words, what you have in here, from what I can tell, is a good amount of games. I think about 20 games, I believe. And it's a mixture, for this one, of Atari 26 and Atari 78. You can tell by the design that it's modeled after the 7800. And it says it right there. Mini 7800. So basically it's modeled after that. And again, it has its share of 7800 titles as well as its 2600 titles, because it was compatible back when the original system came out, was backwards compatible with Atari Flashback, with Atari 2600 games, I should say. Now, they have released through ATGAMES, they have released sequels to this, like the Atari Flashback 4. As they call it, which is basically an Atari Flashback, which is like this, but in the design, well, actually Atari Flashback 3 and 4, which is basically in the design of the Atari 2600. Now, believe it or not, Atari, now just like with Atari, when they first came out, of course, they would come with controllers, just like the original one. Like these basically represent the original 7800 controllers, and the 2600 flashbacks come with the 2600 controllers. And what's good about this is if you're an avid video game collector, consoles and games and stuff like that, these are actually compatible, from what I understand, with the original 7800 that you may own. Now, ATGAMES, of course, isn't just doing Atari plug-and-plays. No, they're actually doing other ones as well. As a matter of fact, one that's recently been shown around town lately, whether it's at Walgreens or wherever, I saw it at Walgreens here in town, hopefully they'll have more later on, is the Sega Genesis Classic console. Well, it's the Sega Classic Genesis console. And what it is basically a plug-and-play game, just like this, with built-in, with about 20 to maybe 4, which basically with 80 games built in. 40 original Sega Genesis titles, and 40 original titles. Basically custom made, I guess, for the Sega Classic Genesis console. But you see that one of the biggest differences, though, from this, the Flashback 4 and 3, the biggest difference is you could actually, with the Sega one, with the Sega Genesis Classic console, not only do you get a built-in arcade library of 40 built-in games, like I say, 40 Sega Genesis and 40 originals, but you also have on top a place where you can put Sega Genesis cartridges. That's right. You can actually put Sega Genesis cartridges in there and play them. Now, the only bad thing about it, from what people have said, and you can look here on YouTube and in Google and everything, and they'll probably say the same thing, not all Sega Genesis consoles are compatible. The benefit about this, if the release here in America is the same as what was released around the world, in various parts of the world, is that with this Sega Genesis Classic console play and plug-in, or play and plug-in system, is you could actually not just play North American games, but if it's the same as what, as when it was originally released, like I say, in various parts of the world in the past few years, you could also play just not just North American Genesis games, but you could also play PAL versions, Japan versions as well, if this North American release of the classic Sega Genesis console plug-and-play version can do that. Now, the biggest thing about ATGAMES is with the controllers, they can sell you controllers wired controllers, or you could get wireless, and that's what these consoles like the Flashback 3 and 4 and the Sega Genesis Classic console plug-and-play come with, wireless controllers. So that's pretty good. Now, some people have said that the only negative thing, or one of the critical things about these, or one of the negative aspects that people look at it, one of the cons, if you will, is some people have said that with the Sega one, you have to have the controller, looking directly at the console, kind of pointed directly at the console. Probably the same with the Flashback 3 and 4, but when that is yet to be seen. But again, for anybody, as some people have said, like the Classic Game Room have said before, if you're getting into Sega Genesis for the first time, the plug-and-play, the classic console plug-and-play for the Sega Genesis is the best way to go. And, it is small, very smaller than the Genesis 3, or the Genesis Model 3, but what are you going to do? And for about, depending on how much where you find it at, sells it for, it'll be worth getting, though. It'll be worth getting. But, again, the question asked, a lot of people want to know, is what are plug-and-play games, or what is ATGAMES? And again, to answer the question, ATGAMES is basically a company known for the plug-and-play stuff. I mean, they got plug-and-play joysticks with 2 or 3 games in there, like Virtual Fighter or Street Fighter or Sonic, all rolled into one. And it's basically like a joystick which you would play at the arcade. They got stuff like that. They got a lot of stuff. Just look at this site, atgames.com, and you'll pretty much see what I'm talking about. But again, what they are mainly known for is creating and releasing miniature, mini versions of the original consoles, but with games stored in there. With games already installed through a special chip in there already. So you don't have to worry about getting a cartridge or anything and putting it in there. Now, when it comes to, let's say, the Atari Flashback series, I think it's 4 and 3 for the 2600, I think you can have it modified if you want to, so you could put your Atari games in there, cartridge-wise. But that's only what I've heard. But if it was me, I wouldn't do that. I'd just be satisfied with what I got, or what I would have. And I'm pretty satisfied with this. I've had it for a while now. It's a pretty good system. It's very entertaining. If you need something on the go, there you go. So that's all I'm going to say. Hopefully that helped explain what ATGAMES is and what plug-and-play games are and why they're around and being released. You got any comments, let me know down below. Video response if you like. God bless, take care, and I'll talk to y'all later.